Ade aye yasif say plan bia enna ho. The way aye bu minus na yesi cathedral. Plan na yesi cathedral na we himfa budget aye yesi cathedral na we himfa. Prudence say ye go beyond sika ya theater. Sika na ya theater 350 million no crampo no. Eye den ne den na ekom. Ese so mutima yehu. Because already Sika has spent 400 million Ghana cedis just to pay one person for designing the National Cathedral. Meanwhile, to a so crampo no, you found more from. At the end of that foundation stage. You did from Kayan found more from. You see foundation impo nampo see yakasi ya raising it to baby. Sika has spent it on one person. This is very, very sad. When you are Ghana Sika, ye Sika. Yeah, taxes. It must say I metuye e-levy. Inti metuye e-levy away na mo de beye. E-levy ya ye tuye de ye ni. Captain say same way they are ho. Me de bia no me yi ba sidim 400 million Ghana cedis. Ana ye de tuye nipa baako pew. Anka we nke betimi a raise building no to a certain level. Government should come and tell us baby omu yi sika ni fie. Because almost by initially, no, almost a building way, and crank the basic government be seed money. Seed money, you create it me question say money no free. After the yen share. Into captain, yes, you got because there should be a lot of questions about CSK. Now, what is I didn't no choosing the paba kope. So on mama me draw no consulting.
Or international architects.
Other international architects, maybe grandpa ye kwa other place and come be for free amai. Onyame adwuma wo ya wo bless you. Ghana your architects power. Your architects fine. Wo mu design niema. They just say yen aye de na nye fe. Same way they are. I mean, it's very sad. Me, I can't even talk anymore.
All right.
It's very sad.
Mamenkoni need the reason you tria sa $23,750,000. Yeah. Emma David Ajayi say 1, obey lead consultant. Right. 2, the construction beginning to the end. Okay. And then number 3, obey supervisor for the construction of the National Cathedral. Now, ye sir, obey supervisor, you try musika in Amanawi. Okay. Yen constructing we, you try musika in Amanawi. And say, Adia Wunyam we, you know, yet we try Mukasa Manaye.
Captain, I like to take it from root cause. All the youth of Ghana.
All right.
Yeah, co-panelist and yes, all the cameraman and technical team. First off, Captain, time or start to say or draw project and all of those, no. He was not a licensed architect in Ghana. That's the first issue.
Okay.
And he didn't even have any right or the permission to even do that. That's the first issue. Okay, I said the Architect Association of Ghana won't buy out. I said he's not licensed amongst them to even do this. But he didn't have the right. That's the first breach of the law. Secondly, we didn't even see the process for the tendering. So if you went to any competitive tendering process to get the contract to design this, we didn't see anything like that. Until we saw, say, sole source, completely sole source. That's another breach of the law. Second one. We're told, sir, this wasn't going to be at any cost or any burden to the taxpayer. But then again, we're saying, sir, we're using state funds for the building of these things. That's a third breach of the law. Captain, when we were going to even select the site for building this thing, it didn't go through, has been selected for the project. So this is what's going to be done. Indeed, Yehun said there were buildings on the site already that belonged to the state. This was given to the judicial service. We broke all those buildings down in the hope that we are going to make room or space for this land. Yes, one person just decided to pick that land and they give it. I said, we call Supreme Court. And I say, Article 2257, all land is vested in the president's hands. Until the president first or the land in Bayeno, he has every right to do whatever it is with it. And Captain, these are 4, if you want, breaches of the law or irregularities, as they like to call it, concerned with this thing. Captain, even before I get into the details of Sky Etiano, on these grounds alone, this government should have been removed. In any serious jurisdiction, based on this 4 things I've listed, this government should have been removed. The entire administration should have been removed. Because this is not just causing financial loss to the state, too. You've actually lied to the people of Ghana. They told us this is not going to be a state.
So, Mama head TV no, we video we and you call and you could try and see obi anko we went there. We are National Cathedral baby eduni. They are spending $291 million no. Ti ebe ba obi hu no fine pa. Na wa fan sa mai. Anti said it no. That's it. Nico.
Yes,
Captain. Show other videos read.
So in any serious democracy, Anka, this is grounds to remove the entire government administration. Each and every single one of them will have to go out. Because to lie to the Ghanaian people, say, this is not going to be the state's funds being used, but this is a private, whatever it is. No. Now we are finding out that apart from all the expenses that have gone into, and Captain, say, total cost of this project, let's not forget the land, the value of the land itself, the cost of the buildings that were removed, the cost of relocating an embassy, the judicial school, and the judges who live there. Let's put all of those costs into it. And then we see the real value or the cost that has gone into the building of this cathedral. But if you're talking about it, sometimes we just look at how much has gone into the project right now, 200 something, 90 BBB. That's what we look at. But the attendant cost is something that we've not even paid attention to. But Captain, like I'm saying, all of these things are grounds for this government to be removed. This is an impeachable offense. And I'm saying the current opposition in government is the most useless opposition I've ever seen.
What's it now, Mike?
Me say, this current opposition is the most useless opposition we've ever had in the history of Ghanaian politics.
Say the Mike.
Abba, and come to me and repeat it for the third time.
Okay, can I hear you? That's not say to trust. Not say
yes. Into me say, our current opposition in Parliament is the most useless opposition ever in the history of Ghana.
Right.
Why am I saying this, Captain? We were in this country.
So could you open a opposition MP?
And then just I'm just making move outside cry. Captain, we were in this country when Oforiatta was appointed as finance minister in 2017. We saw his track record up to 2020. Mind you, sir, and Sana you pass any minister as a minister of state, he has to go through an approval process from Parliament. The same opposition, and mind you, in the first time in the history of Ghana politics, we have a hung parliament, which is a piece. It's 137 for MPP, 137 for NDC. And they have a numerical strength in Parliament to stop or to pass anything that happens in Parliament. Now, they've threatened and said they'll never let anything pass in Parliament until they come to deal with the finance minister to give account on some of these things. So it means they have the power to stop all of these things from happening. But the same people in Parliament sat and approved Ken Ofori-Atta as the next finance minister.
Who said the National Cathedral baby? This picture was taken Sunday afternoon. I did. Sunday afternoon.
So Yusuf, ugly
smart investigative team. You sit,
yeah.
And a dahono. To be a National Cathedral, no edroni, you are spending 291 million Ghana cedis. Ajaye sikane nka ho. Mummy sa so for na wo so dey. One one.
Ntu di Ajaye de ne beka ho almost 600 million.
Oh, wo
and I'm saying add the cost of relocating an embassy. Wow. Me say add the cost of relocating an embassy, the judicial school, all of those things have to be factored into the cost. Now you will see the real amount this thing is costing Ghanaians. And see, Captain, like I'm saying, Parliament sat down and approved Ken Ofori-Atta as the next finance minister from 2020 to 2024. They are complicit. They are complicit in this rot. And so, like I'm saying, they're the most useless opposition we've ever seen because they had the numerical strength to stop some of these things. Granted, sir, they've started this project. We've seen the inconsistencies that are happening. State funds have been used. Captain, what has Parliament been able to do about any of these things? Nothing. What's the opposition in Parliament able to do about these things? But instead of dealing with these issues in Parliament, Captain, almost say, I'm going back onto the streets to join us to protest against what the government is doing. Isn't this madness? You have the strength in Parliament to stop these things. But you come to join us on the streets. Captain, we use the streets. We, the people of Ghana, the youth, we go on the streets because we don't have access to Parliament. So we use the streets as a means of voicing out our displeasure to stop some of these things. But more of Parliament, you have equal numbers as the ruling administration. Instead of you to use Parliament to stop these things, they leave it. The best they can do is to walk out. And now they're telling us, say, one person will back onto the streets, come and demonstrate. This is madness. This is madness. Captain, now back to the issue of the National Cathedral. I raised an issue here last time with the address Sir, I don't believe who is the owner of this project. If indeed Ghana owns it, almost say we own it. They came out with a letter saying it has been incorporated in Ghana under the whatever it is. Let that be with Borfu Bibere. Captain, have you ever heard in your whole lifetime? Have you ever heard say a state institution has been incorporated in another jurisdiction and it has a foreign address? Have you ever heard this before? And see, if you go to the official website of the National Cathedral and they claim it's a state-owned whatever it is, why is it that you have a foreign address right there? And they say it is the U.S. representative. But look at the name that the U.S. representative has been incorporated as. You find National Cathedral of Ghana and the Bible Museum Foundation incorporated in Washington, D.C. Why is nobody addressing that particular thing? They should explain it to us. We have lawyers in the country. They should explain that part. So if it's really a state-owned institution, how is that you register it in a foreign jurisdiction using that same name?
It's another Japan.
No, I'm saying I don't want to even allege anything. I want them to come and explain to us how a state-owned enterprise or a monument is incorporated in a foreign jurisdiction. I just want explanations for that part. And Captain, this question I've asked will bring out everything that's related to these issues. And like I'm saying, in any serious democracy, Captain, this government would have been caused to resign. I digress a little bit. Captain, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of UK, was nearly impeached a few weeks ago. Why? Almost say time COVID bad down by lockdown, said nobody should do certain things in public. Boris Johnson had a party with a few individuals also. And based on that incident alone, they were seeking to impeach Boris Johnson. No problem. When this country in 2020, when Sir John died, we saw videos where the president included and so many of his appointees were in Kumasi for his funeral. What has happened to the president? Has he been impeached? Again, I say the opposition we have right now is the most useless opposition we've ever seen.
What do happen now, Mike? And I cut you. That's all come.
Me say Boris Johnson was nearly impeached because during the lockdown,
what do you buy?
Me say our president and his appointees went to buy. Me say based on that, nothing has been done to the president. He has been left to go about his business. And I'm saying the opposition we have today is the most useless opposition we've ever had in the history of this
solution check and the mic and I don't know about position. What's the idea?
I can't say when they're mischief. But me see, this opposition in parliament is the most useless opposition we've ever had in the history of Ghanaian politics. Because why is the president still at post? If Boris Johnson was nearly impeached because of the tea party he had, with a few individuals where he went to dance, based on that, they were trying to impeach him. We had a president with his whole entourage who went for a funeral, a public funeral, during the COVID time when we were under lockdown. Nothing has happened to him.
The opposition they were there too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. They're the most useless we've ever seen. Now the finance minister who is dipping his hand into the consolidated funds, using monies that they promised us that was not going to be taken for this project. And nobody's talking about it. The opposition is still in parliament. And they'll just come and speak big English to us. Captain, we have to get serious in this country because the assembly is becoming a banana republic. The rule of law has been washed away. Nothing works concerning the law. And when people realize we are dealing with an issue of terrorism, people are saying, say, this thing has become an issue. Now you have a country where the laws are not even working. What do you think you're creating? Laws were supposed to prevent some of these things from happening. But the people realize, say, in your country, your laws don't work any longer. That's the banana republic. You are inviting terrorists to come in and take advantage of this situation. And Captain, we are slowly monitoring how this thing is going to go. My last point on this issue, Captain, the so-called Board of Trustees. These are supposed to be eminent men of God. And I use the word carefully here, supposed to be eminent men of God. Men who are supposed to be able to speak on the side of righteousness. And one of the virtues of righteousness is honesty and truthfulness. And see, Captain, at least, if you're not even part of some of this rot, granted, but you realize, sir, some of these things are not going right. Why are they silent? Why have they been quiet for so long? And Captain, to wrap up, I can tell them for a fact, sir, this cathedral can never be built. Because if really there's a God out there, you cannot build a house which is supposed to be a house of holiness on a pack of lies. Captain, thank you.
Solid.
Innocent.
Captain. Captain, I think that Babia Yaba Bedru now to any krum. Now has said on mine we see Koya. Ghana, Cecilia Senka, Ghana, Nipa, me a short senka or the emergency, critical care, oxygen, BBS city so. Senka Ghana, Nipa, or the emergency, oxygen, DBS city so. Trying to survive. Yes. into such an economy, you expect a man for in charge, and mine no your priority would gear towards say we are reviving such an economy. So by creating a viable, opportunities, working everything for your minor. The partner trajectory now ya course over the last years you who say that we are repositioning the country into a place and then you certain confidence in the economy. Say the economy is really on the right track. But in the face of all these things, the economy is crashing right in front of us. And there are statistics out there quite recently. So here's CFR, whereby projections are about out. 10 countries are likely to default in the next 5 years in terms of debt. In the Ghana, we are one of the countries. Moody's, downgraded Ghana. Fitch, downgraded here. So at the global economy, Ghana is no longer a competitive force. Ghana, just the economy not sink here to a level where the Ghana in. So your priority now would gear towards we are reviving such an economy. But very interestingly, the finance minister who is supposed to go to the room and think, profess alternative that will help us to turn the situation around, is all over on TV, advocating the spiritual food for Ghanaians. Say, yeah, see a person I just say you see cathedral. So the priorities of the nation, that is people to go into the room, think, profess alternative that are feasible. We are no longer interested in such things, but rather a spiritual food of Ghanaians by building a cathedral for Ghana. And the good question is, at what point they will visit Ghana for a cathedral? Assuming without admitting Krasi in a cathedral. From area in Accra, a cantonment. And a by no individual be done. And it was saying, normal directives, I won't call. Na munkobu judges dangu ho and that's me person cathedral. Omukobu judges no dangu. Do you know say one of the judges are otiho, the person felt so disrespected say or resigned from the position. Say judge no kwa. You can do your research, you find out. Or no one can say because of adi or my yabuda na guru kana. Judge no wajai or nya judge biem. The pain that such a person go through. And a yakobu dine to the cost involved, like he said. You can see a quantifier and yeah, the because one building our home, may sure say almost bare 4 acres of land and almost secure for this particular building. And I yasisa a software can see the baby gusona or by beginning Ghana for Shasia asking questions because in a democracy that is what we do. Democracy we are trying to breed critical minds who subject everything to your friends are critical and intellectual scrutiny. People are asking questions. I remember the time at Duncan Williams Babo and take Ghana for say because I buy Mkofa or my sick and a day, Nemo individual and a private way. So at this point, the evidence are clear. Nemo go on things here. I'm buying it in Sakwa, my sick, even Parliament as an institution, you require or more approvals of free, the consolidated fund, my more money. No, what is the current position of Sasofon on BD, Ghana for Atemno? Matisse be much as a benefit board, no so Nicodemosly. They should gather the courage and do a press conference and apologize to Ghanaians because a lot of enlisted their support for some of these projects because of these personalities are Omudi Achiri. Enti makwako wura no mahu say adeno say kro no ni dream ni na sefo a then na sumasi mu dwane. I think they own Ghanaians an apology. Or they should come and apologize to Ghanaians. And again, we had a process involved in there are a whole lot of infractions all over. Mr. For the first time, I'm expecting say you be suffer in your jail in a prison. No mudia answer. Because these individuals are just accomplices of this criminal things because they are part of it. Some of the Nema Ekosu and they are privy. So we are software now with a board who says I am a full way because I bind the sack of board my sikam without recourse to parliament now. Dibiana Ubemia not answer what the boards because we are software. I think that we need to in the future now some of these individuals must be prosecuted. Plus everybody are buying crew for model of Monsa a cancer idea and he made mention of parliament. And I think that is another institution I failing Ghana for at this particular point. Because like he said, minority our opportunities a president the right to impeach the president is there. Even though you need 2/3 of parliament, you know very well say you don't have the numbers. That's admitted. But you see, you don't impeach a president because you want to remove him. You impeach a president because you want to indict him. That is it. Because the mere fact says I'm not Donald Trump didn't say more impeachment. The impeachment him because you don't know, say, numbers, and there was no way they're going to have it. But the mere fact that you're on record that the president at some point in time was impeached, it's a huge indictment on your credibility as president. So these are some of the avenues of it because we have dealing with a government that has become so intransigent and recalcitrant. Say, they are not amenable to wisdom, amenable to reasoning, nothing. As a Obia, Okasa, the mayor, and no one, mayor. And I never know more than a no dachi and no more a diagro. The Nisabo Mindsikum, the opera, the aye, just a Okanyans are sent you more. Nobody is ready to listen to you. Okamoso ya bonsam. Instead of Usikaya, nobody is against the building of a cathedral. One man, Obinimne, other individuals, build an estate for themselves, a church, but for creating me build such a big way for Omankasa or more individual churches. It is a precedent because we see, sorry, I don't want to still support say you me individual beti me aboa now we don't say kobo man sikam or man sikaro don't say kobo won fa mara kwan so sending as for ya de ma brantie we so far your procurement act now yes law no make sufficient provision for source sourcing but there must be your friends say reasons are available that particular reason be say be the expertise and the name wo hia no firms na available no any no kwan na benya but there be enough reasons but where they no say Obi at the Flagstaff House or your friends chief of staff not let the hunu chrono kesibi ekoso kromabia this woman one way or the other is involved and nobody is asking any critical questions here investigating all the criminal deals going on under this particular government and yet chief of staff not a kind of oriata
but maybe she's been directed by the president.
No, yeah, that's why they would because we are not talking about Akora, we are talking about Penina when you're supposed to be reasonable enough. Or because a sign with signature issue statement. Not say, I don't do anything I say, I don't wear more. You excuse yourself because other presidents do. But we don't have that particular thing. Me say we more be position now fan na call because position is all that we seek.
What's it?
So for be the no man the position ya. Not the position man because all we care for is power. Power no onya ego or the baby we are people don't mind selling their wives.
Say what now Mike
They say oh that's what that I'm repeat it
Dabina Mike and Manti anko
oh now captain say your concept and attitude towards power that is how it is bibini o fa na yere na mema minister na mefa o yere obepena mo afa no because all we want is power because power non fa mese wunipa or the be we be born na be di abro yeah more girls Ghana also be sika o change na yere change na car change na fie that is our attitude among for the make impact yeah your mind is different our attitude and concept towards power and is so different and what I'm saying is say baby ya ba bedru captain me na me clinicals e wo Kolebu teaching hospital na me say ura Kolebua na sa kwa resident demokura muhu bi the videos all over from the morgue na no ensuo to ye na leak to the extent say Kolebu floor no na patient omo ho apeja omo nan that is the state of this particular country ensuo to quite recently circle among for say nipo omo yira nipo omo that is the state of this particular country her school feeding the nature ye wom oman no look at a car emne ya bobosia kenoforia takro ya ade oman na bobosia for him to go and think how to turn this particular economy around he's out there talking about spiritual food. What kind of nonsense is this? Also here spiritual food. Yeah, the spiritual food we all have our individual relationship with God. But at this point, you don't hold the nation at the gunpoint. Spiritual food.
A common they would
school feeding program.
Spiritual food.
School feeding program.
They be not for that.
Spiritual food bag.
Spiritual food, the young
Captain, on mine, I said, damn, I bo say ya real, say ya among for investing in critical areas, a bit what said on mine that. And then, so we cried that dialysis in as a for sooner. But we are the cost involved and other, and now soon I know my would that surround power no baba than ya run among for kidneys say we need to just make that a priority as a government in terms of health you make investment I'm for Manam Chroma I'm at the hospital I know say 35 years and above there are a lot of people who kidneys are someone didn't know Chroma say yeah I'm sure you better life span of Ghanaians will be just 40 we'll be 40 when we call
Niba last 2 weeks was the last 2 weeks or last week and no Cancer National Cathedral and you're buying there it's now confirmed it's a private company. And I'll prove to you with documents now.
Because you see now Mike Nene and you Juma last side.
The National Cathedral has been registered as a private entity
Yes.
and yes, state-owned.
That's why they can incorporate it in a foreign jurisdiction. Thank you, Captain.
Number 2. Asofo na ewo so no opani omenyo. Ene Bishop Dak Heward Mills. One day wo National Cathedral no website say one mo mienu ni nyina no wo actors. Opani Dak Heward Mills, your name is not there. I will prove to you now. Umfoni ni wudin keke ene that website no so. What prompted say obe resign? Watch it. Openi omenyo na kram say wa bere kakra. Shedan tiapo. Wudin ene da ho keke. Na ka kire mo asofo mpanifo amwo krom ha ne say. Politician bi o wa asase so bi apese owu a openi po wa ndunyam no ne na wu. Timonye careful. All right. Sir, I don't know if you guys are ready. Let's get going. Company profile of the National Cathedral. It's on my machine. We'll put it on its screen for you to have a look at it. Business entity type here. Company limited by guarantee. Company type private.
Wow.
Company type private. Association type organization. Entity name National Cathedral of Ghana. The registration number Ghana baya jia tumu say adere nya Ghana for ya dia eyobi dia. Number is CG094112019. Original incorporation date no 18th July 2019.
Date of commencement.
Commencement date no 18th July 2019. Nature of business and sector yatro others na show. Others ne ya. Now, objects of the company. 1, to own the assets of the National Cathedral. To own the assets of the National Cathedral of Ghana. 2, to administer the National Cathedral project. 3, to serve as a conveying platform for national conversation on faith. 4, to operate an interdenominational church for national purposes. Principal activity to own the assets of the National Cathedral of Ghana. 2, to administer the National Cathedral. 3, the American was thrown at me nana assign Esheho. ISIC code and on actually nipa company no. Yene de ane adekode potin pa ye de beye. So we register company ye tro primary and say back for there. Enti ISIC code ye 9491. Description: activities of religious organizations. Primary ye tro yes. We'll put the document there for you, so you just don't worry. Digital address no of a National Cathedral no yaji ashemu ho. Say GA0805834. House building flat number. National Secretariat of Ghana. Presidential Lodge. And near here. Street name near Haile Selassie Road. City behind State House, Accra. Country, Ghana. Region, Greater Accra. District, Accra. Postal address, P.O. Box OS2482 Osu, Accra. Who owns that box number? Telephone numbers do you know? I cannot. So that is it there for you. Now, the directors of the said company, entity, no, but documents now me kind on that hono.
The red no.
The private na wo hono na ya underline. National Cathedral no nya ya dia mo fa me cement mra me. Me pen kwa asem bia wo ba bia. Me pen kwa asem bia wo ba bia. Mo fa me cement mra me. Ba say hunu ba no. Adanti mu buyan ti say mu gu board so. Eti munim ade we anase munim me pesa mekma sam ne. Men so tabi nyame nhyiraw. Nipa resign e say we excuse ne ho. O excuse ne ho akwadwon so anaso o excuse ne ho akokwan ne minimum aba.
Say you didn't to platform so just to make people come. That's fraud. Fraud by misrepresentation.
Now, Yankwana Fe Yankwa, the directors of this private company. And a dahono.
Very important.
Entity and company name. I know the medical bama dada. The last name here Ofosu. Executive Council member, director, ne 10 number and a show. Independence Square, any 10 number. Because a state owned.
Aye.
Jubilee House, any 10 number. A state owned. Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, any 10 number. A state owned.
This is serious, Captain. I think you need to stop.
Number 2, Charles Palmer Barker.
This is serious.
Executive Council member, director, ne 10 number ne shahono. Titus, Executive Council member and director, private company called the National Cathedral. Opoku Oyina, or Executive Council member and director. Paul Frimpong Manso, or Executive Council member and director. Most Reverend Justice Akrofi, Executive Council member or a director. When we not 10 numbers, no, 10 numbers, they more. Victor Kusibwate, Executive Council member and director. Mebusa Dakiwad Mills, your name is there. Now, today, let me say this emphatically. This is the reason why Dr. Mensa Otabil left the board of trustees. He's a man of integrity. He says, I am not here. Who owns the company? If it is private, I can be a director. Me and my bank be anima Ghana for Captain Kahoya Trime Boso Dada. What's that the back of National Cathedral Woman Crofoya be chami? Men are make chrono. Must say excuse yate. No be excusing who ye na will show you so. Now me say John Swadem and I make quack John Sabekia don't call Kofi Adam, I'm quite some running to interview no so. Nessa me kwaba, me bedru ya see the host for Fratna. Ni pare so excuse no ho a must me you free website no so ho won ka ho biom. And then come on fan phone in that to Adam try say excused. Manye papa ne ko. So these are the owners of the National Cathedral. Where is the name of Duncan Williams? To be continued. Ubiyango. Kofi so mame. I think say documents in that screen so that until you can look at the names of the owners of the National Cathedral and me lawyer, me company lawyer. Na Mokrata mwankasa motroye ne kyerɛ yɛn sɛ every member bia or board of trustees ne so no or a director. But where is the name? No, okay. Mr. Producer, get the list of the board of trustees. Idru suna within one day take it. Professor Opoku Oyina. Onena etoso 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4. Or a chairperson of the board of trustees. Nidi womsa National Cathedral no say ye we wu anema betumi akole claim or a director ni chefa wom me papa dia mfamam. Or a owner of the National Cathedral called Justice Ofai Akrofi unya director onka ho wo je dan wo board of trustees ne so onka ho so betwa board of trustees ya unya owner enya hwe. Right, Reverend Professor Emmanuel Mate, the most disappointed.
Disappointing.
Papa, I am in person mechanism.
Oh, Papa.
Papa, we mean who pe.
Oh.
Na me raho.
What happened?
Nidi wumbi. Nidi ne tosumi no say National Cathedral ne dia. Or a director, you take company, now you're a director, actually say, oh, shares, and I'm what? Okay. Until so you're taking on, okay, call. Omenyo Accra, Udini ha. Until so you say, one more board of trustees, this week, I'm more directors, about the same, and the Udini ha. Pacho Ukrata one sign koya na one sign bi koanim. Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams hold the city. Relegate and negate any authority that is actually fighting against the prosperity of this country. Yes. And I call the authority of the supreme being that anytime our president rises up, I hold the sword. Ghana must move forward. Old boy, your name is not here. Wow. Move on. Most Reverend T.K. Awotwe Pratt.
Yes, most Reverend.
Titus. Uncle Titus. Within Waha. I wish him be a director. And die win. Your mama won't fast for no accord one share near Beji.
Most Reverend.
Or a most Reverend. Now, say no on your presiding bishop. I love this man. That word Mills, man, I love you. I tell you, Pastor, I love you. Your name is not here. Your name is not here. Yanko. Kwesi bwa tende wa memkra kanye. On a last person, executive council member, director. And I told you yesterday, say, the board of trustees may emergency meeting, and I am reliably informed that by 10 a.m., Nipa Mienu could do baby meeting. This is here. So by 10 a.m., all the other members will join them. But I say Nipa to be more mama and say board of trustees meeting. Until you send a text message, they also say they will not attend the meeting. Confusion at the board of trustees of the National Cathedral. But I mean, Joyce, I deem him or your bar in person mechanism, Pacho. Excused. Resigned, excused. Reverend Dr. Frimpong Manso, Paul Amantem, on Charlie Canfo. Esenka, Ubia Ode Paul, Biasa Ode Saul, so Udin, so. Because your friend is Saul Paul, the Dean Pano, Baby, Niwa, now your friend is Saul, and Yamiko Shia, no, Sassan, the your friend Paul, and you're no correct. That is not what Acts of Apostles, a kind of Bible. No, was now Bam Tebi or why your friend Saul Paul, Sana Bible no boon. They are so for Cramunia, someone that I am come Bible Namontias. Dr. Paulo Poku Mensa, Uniha, on the executive director, Pachoko, Uncle the Udimbe Ye. America for the
America for
Carrie Summers, President and CEO Ma. Nehemiah Group, Habakkuk Group, no way. Habakkuk, away. Going him. And I said, David Ajayi, architect. Ono nka ho nye director wagye sika wie. On economy. Anthony J. Lynch, president of the Lynch Pinnacle Group. That's the last person. Uminano umudi iniha. The only question we're asking this morning on Unyamache and say, Dentina dear no yet private thing. Your Excellency, you've lied to us and you have lied to God. I think that holding on with the construction of this national cathedral. Kandapa, if indeed you are the national security minister, this is the time to start proper investigations into the national cathedral.
He's having a pajama party right now.
I will be disappointed. Passe. And never way now is surrounded the so-called biblical museum, the biblical gardens for the where. Hey, Bible mediane. Bible and mediane. Mama sofu bi anda daw. Opa kan Bible 24 hours na common dew na bompaye. Tetena na nyame to mana no di kaka kire se on to bi Bible bi enu ho ebema waduane adida. Nti na sofo no ton wo yere no. Cho se Bible mediane. There's something wrong with us as people, Kofi.
Captain, the National Cathedral is an illegal transaction. Ghana for Muntini. The National Cathedral is an illegal project. It's an illegal transaction. From the education, Captain Diamayano, Pa Ni Yunuanum Ubiakano, I can, without a doubt, tell you that it's a money laundering scheme. National Cathedral is a money laundering scheme because what may use National Cathedral, they are launder money. We don't know where the money is, but a taxpayers' money and a couple of things, and it's so evident. This project was illegal right from the onset because number one, Ajay Associates now, Your Highness said, on my lead consultant, near to me and fam picket the organization a better rendering am I for the project no on one woman say one more be fan on one deny dear I then your high now you 21 million captain. So when him say what the idea ne be mo bia wo high no what ne ka for a juma when him say who here says say ye no what 21 million. So na adenti na ye catch and say a project ye be sources sika from individuals, private institutions. Aden a call PPA. PPA ye bibia a ye government owned government projects na call PPA. Inti sa conflict no crash say.
My main support Pagwesi get set for baby second one read in a tour where it's on the letterhead of the National Cathedral. This document I'm about reading to you, no, it's on the letterhead of the National Cathedral, and they have stated categorically that the National Cathedral is a private project.
Are you serious? on the national?
Okay. And I'm a National Cathedral for letters. One a tro one more letters. Now matro Emra Samsemi Baya, executive director, no, and the finance minister, echo GBC. Kokasawi, no, at the actually, no more issue statement, no, at the bedroom. And they have told us to say a private project. But say, Kromfu and Niatia, only Mudache, a bokro, no, the brofo natural, no, the commerce association, in quotation mark omboa chrono pa de beto ho me kan ama krata we executive director na nsa hye the National Cathedral, public or private, or any question, any doubt TV no so no. Tie na ebetimi akan. Or say, in his first official announcement on the project on March 6, 2017, the president underscored the nature of the project as a national cathedral for interdenominational worship services for the nation. Subsequent elaborations led to three main reasons as the rationale for the project. Namely, 1, gesture of thanksgiving. Symbol of the Christian presence and contributions to the nation. And a personal pledge to God. Of these three reasons, the personal pledge came to be associated with the cathedral, as it's now a private project that needed to be developed without state support. The Akano, mankind. And a doubt TV no. I'm only just trying to tell you something. Eti, say no. Oye ya no, asan kwatre. No, bet you be wa say ho. Minimum nipa person confusing no. For the avoidance of doubt, no there was sooner wa creating an answer the beba dache. The National Cathedral is a national monument, and thus a public, not private project. Now, more register and say a public project. E-blocks. Who can register general, but you register one. Ghana Education Service there on the managing under the Ministry of Education. Legon Hospital. They can register general, but you register home. So why was the National Cathedral registered as a private something? Anyway, Kofi, maybe can be beyond.
Captain. Say dear, say Ghana food na we enye said the so-called group na what parliament from opposition no said the union no they're the most useless. They are not only incompetent, they are sleeping. They don't have a clue what is going on. Inti one more responsibility say one more baba yet responsible fiduciaries of the state no more hold the ruling government to know responsible and accountable no said nioma walking woman to me and kind Iti Ghana for maybe a question pa maybe someone because as I say you move forward from here. Who say MPP Ababoy and Chrono National Cathedral mudi nyami din ena mode aforme a racket.
There be MPP mebo bi Chrono. Na na do aban na Ababo Chrono.
Na say ostane for MPP.
But ya sure as onye party chairman.
Yo, mode mobeka sa yate.
Say Nana do aban.
Say wordsmith and FIAC justification.
Because what has the party done?
Exactly. Party no mumu nti yemfa a crew from ra. One abeti accelerator so kra more. Train no there co station and it's going to be a major distraction. Way National Cathedral way an embarrassment to the whole nation. Obia we Christo ni biano, you can't take this lightly. Say ye dinyami di pan as I say ye de bokro no way a racket. We na ya media me who drew me so much say me who dear menka but say Ghana for after way near say ye vote to NDC say on samra dia. They say abonsamani aje because Ghana ne one place abonsam obia there's no evil in Ghana. Unim de nti abonsam du Ghana ye de kyerɛ no so nyame din say obesi embarrassing at the highest level mudi nyame din abokro no atue sika sei sika no he na we he saa sika no ebeba ho asɛm bɛbɔ we ye fe na afiase but ya nti be the American say preparation for 2024 no say mon starting educating mo ho say ye na no 2024 no ye ba besesa NDC ni MPP. There is no need to say we will go back to this rot after the need to say we will go back to this rot after the year because say it's going to come upon us and say you didn't see na say me yi ho afiri mu and the way I yi me ho afiri mu no say NDC ni MPP dey me vote ma mo da won so a won yi ho afiri mu no Ghana Captain, I am embarrassed. Mutumi nyehwe ma Ghana for insuto a nkrofo ebom paye say insuto ni enya ni create reservoirs ni fam build yen agricultural industry ni enya aduane ni no insuto na eku livestock say property National Cathedral.
All right.
Mo bokro no enim guase pa na account Akufo-Addo and your government.
But that's it. Mamen call Minuaba Jantua Hona. A minute or two, na the other can but what say the loyalty to Akufo-Addo no blinded him to a lot of things. Yeah, that's it.
Hey.
And some beban yes say
Loyalty doesn't go without responsibility.
Hey.
And some beban yes say
Loyalty doesn't go without responsibility.
Captain, me who dream you. Means me grandkasa. When you find the capital 419 Ponzi scheme. This is a well managed forward. It's a 419 for no crown no omobe bomb se mama government. Because this is capital. So cathedral na esi ho no a private entity. Our only cathedral at our blind side. And you did taxpayers' money in a 8 year. Mr. 419 we de minyan who be that. This is a Ponzi scheme. So Oma crafting is so well said. Moshe. But everyone I did been saying so almost as a private company. Captain, is it for fundraising and answer for them? Because me I didn't mean to say most Ghana for there. Me can be BSSN Nyankopon omuna da obemuna.
hey.
Nyankopon se omuna da obemuna osade ya reveal. Ena asofo akese a omo bom paye me de me ya na me papa pa mabaka menim maybe asikyire bi wo ho. Se pa mabaka ababa be ye owner of National Cathedral onu kra ba bi ogina as a Catholic ye friend is bishop no. Eni so oni bibia. Eni so oni wontimi en oni ajapade. Interest explanation be wo ho a omo famre because it does not make sense. Yasa akofa abrofo bi suso aba abehim abrofo no omo fa cathedral no ho be na ade no suso na omo fa cathedral no ho be abrofo no omo si omo de omo befrɛ omo si omo monuments ya de omo ba befrɛ ede benti na ede omo ba abehim mo se National Cathedral afezu masa confirm say a personal pledge dia and it just say private. Is the president kura no betimi asi ye fe asori bi woni kurom na ode amanyankopon personal pledge ayen nka ho e di benti ye de taxpayers money and e ba betua ne almost da ya ka ho. Captain we dey very very unacceptable. Na me CPP as a Ghana for nyina the youth of this country omo boy chidom Captain mu nyina obi amra na yenyi
Ne yankoi
obi na yenyi
o say emra CPP
yenyi omo nyina mfiri ho emra so say yes sanem because Captain 419 at its highest Ponzi scheme where the me so ombebo omo nsema ma wo
Innocent. Yeah, CPP.
Because can't say I did with it because Kwame Nkrumah wouldn't have done this. How so with me a idea I would say a private, registered private, not with the taxpayers' money. Fisika ye to Amajai. Ain't me see a teaching hospital. Say a private, the only one musica no one find ye. Then a private.
Anyway, executive director said now it's not private. Sir, what is the definition of your now NOW in your statement? When now means what?
So at what time
I thought it was private. Why was it private?
Listen, they all should go to jail. I'm serious. They all.
Because jail no de no ko ha de ko ko beto aduane ama ya de be hospital. As I see a jisika ni free omo ne omo ye community work. Wo so ya ne ama akwa efie wo kromu nya ama akwa pra. No be ehu say ade a wo ye ye nto wo di abansika say ne de ba na du ko jail dia so ya do abeto 37 ni ama. As I see a jisika ni nyina ade de ye Ghana.
Community work ni dem implement because ebi mu ejuma ni no. It is obey you say obey ejuma as punishment for something.
There be yanko for mo ejuma no do.
We say ye twom chi ma pa.
Efie wo kromu dɔɔso. Ye wie so de no bɛka be efie twom chi
right, Captain. And Captain, for 2 weeks, me say a conversation on National Cathedral, they call round. But man say obi akoka address ni hu nsem. And Sunday anopa and I'm prayer usama minyano. And I'm catching and say we who address no official website and so. I say well Nigerian call and I me sending a screenshot say it has been registered with a foreign address. That's why Captain I broke that story out when I came on Tuesday.
Good.
And I'm glad say now people are following to see what is coming out. Say if it's truly a public institution now, why would you go and register it with a foreign address? That speaks volumes. And see, Captain, me have said if we're in a serious democracy, Anka, the entire government administration would have been called to resign. And not just those in power, because indeed, Parliament is part of the government administration. And every single member in Parliament would have been called to resign as well. We would have scrapped the whole government machinery and then created a new one based on this thing. This is fraud at the highest stage. Captain, you touched on Otabil Asemno. I heard justification coming out, say, Mensa Otabil was never part of the trust of the board of trustees, but that his picture was put there to make people buy into the idea.
Deceit.
Captain, yes, that is fraud. And see, this is a criminal case. And I would have expected, sir, special prosecutor or attorney general would have picked up on those issues. And this has been in the public domain for over 2 weeks. And so I would have picked up on these things and started investigation and even prosecution. Because how then do you use someone's picture and his name to deceive people to come and join a project when he's not part of that project? Right. That is fraud by misrepresentation. They should charge these people and sue them. I mean, there's not even, and I like what Auntie Johnson said. Say, we shouldn't even jail them. I don't believe in a jail system because, Captain, Obia Korea 5 CDs, where we are in toes and Banchines and Yamano, you're down jail, you're money 10, 15 years. How do you take these people to that same jail where these people are? I don't believe that. Or say, your mom community work. Again, Zoom on your workers, no, you every month, say, proper streets, no. So I don't want them to even use that as punishment. Captain, these people, I say, yeah, mom, public flog. When they see what North, no, we should put them at Independence Square and lash every single one of them. Okay. Because I say, okay,
that's it.
Yeah, Captain. I think at this point, maybe I say this particular country has been held hostage by individual trained criminals. And they've gone to the extent and they've been able to among the one said this particular agenda. And among for says, oh, I saw for maybe no moon and at their blind side. Mpanimfo when you do so dia so anim nye obi na be da da ma kwakọ se obi kasa odo kwaya ade se wo tena se dwene hu ehu ye ndi wa nwene na wo da da no kwose ma there is no excuse yo enti Captain at this point ayadru me da bia me tena se ma kan se Ghana fo ankasa ya ankasa no ese ye reset your mind na ye hu se obi ba na se oman no it doesn't matter whether my party and I way party in a way, the right thing must be done. Now, say Ghana, the ultimate Ghanaian dreamer, the Ghanaian crab future or Tunania can dream to become whoever that they want to become. And now I want to America at the early stage, your dream is I want to become this. And the structures are there. So if you want to follow through. So the Ghanaian dream, how do we get there? But we're in a country where one person, we are
this discussion. More movie address, no most more address, no. National Cathedral for website. We shall address now. We be who the National Cathedral Secretariat, State House, Accra, Ghana. State House, no here.
Secretariat is nepel. That's what we as we here address.
State House, no here. Baby, I had that for address. United States representatives, National Cathedral of Ghana and Bible Museum Foundation Incorporated, 1090 Vermont Avenue,
Northwest,
Northwest, Washington, D.C.,
yes.
20005. Eti, Pacho, what there? Call Onia Online. I am confobi the .com now, so online now .com now. Into the Onia Online, with the bought Onia Online, Pepe, who the author sent me, Quasifo and Yami now the .com now, so. Ubekwa kunya nkratuo ne nneema hodo yabobo Sweden who owns the National Cathedral ni na no ubehu address ni na hwana yede atu TV ne so ama no momfa mesamente mreme
Kebio ya anti MZ speaker no ko
ense hunu bia ho
Captain Kebio o se ene nei
se na o mic ne teko
confirm se o momfa mesamente mreme. Okay, but answer na me try me ho maybe try me who say but answer na no echina enra me catch you say na enra no a road to the National Cathedral. And then no show na ye no team that's so na Rotten Independence. You call that Independence Square. And what it happens and so call near online na ubenya ni na echina 25 minus 25 once I say
0.
Echina somebody should tell the president say on shenontie to me ankasa dwuma me na china no misuro nti ya wada me madwuma makane preko me Thursday me ma echina show ni 25 minus 25
0
enye 0 eye equals to the stolen job.
Hey.
Your vaccines ni na no ewe hey tomorrow the videos we no me. This is USIT, ugly smart investigative team. When ya dia, ye benja hane ya kan, ye bosu pew video nini na wa ye nkata ye nim ba ye betwa. Check na ye 25 minus 25.
Dangerous.
Na wa jesu ofie ho equals to the stolen job. That FR TV.